What is up, gamers? Zenith here. So, with the early expectations and predictions of how this season will play out, uh, at least before the additional balance patch that we're probably gonna receive before the end of Reflections. But anyway, I prepared the 5 decks and 5 concepts that I think are or that might be relevant in this meta. So these are the 5 decks on uh, my right side. And before I go into the decks, I would like to say that I excluded some decks that are also relevant for the few reasons. So I excluded the Fate because deck list just didn't change at all. So if you're curious about Fate, you can watch the first video on this channel. I don't think that much has changed. I excluded Dawn simply because I haven't played her yet, but I think that she is viable, kind of viable at least. However you build her, kind of. Uh, and what else? And the Ramses. Ramses is not here because I simply don't think that he is that good in this meta. Ramses is one of my main champions that I play the most, and I'm pretty confident in my Ramses deck building and skills, so I don't really think that this is the time and place for Ramses. So the first deck that we have is the Morlik. Whoops. Oh my god. One sec. Aha, this is bugging me. Oh, I will do it like this. I'm sorry. So, I mean, it's not the original list, or I'm not the first one that made it, that made this sort of list. So, yeah, I think that this is undisputed tier 1 or S tier deck in this meta. That's my prediction. Um, and the case with every tier 1 deck in Runestrike ever is that tier 1 decks just can be really straightforward, such as this Morlik, and don't really bother to insert flexible elements in the deck lists. So yeah, as I said, this is a pretty straightforward list because he's able to be straightforward, similar to Maius and Vangelis in last patch. Uh, by the way, I think they're still okay, but the nerf hit them a bit too hard with the Zephyr Knights and Spellslingers. So yeah, this is the main deck that you should be having in mind if you're not playing it. So this is the second deck. Uh, so you might have seen something like this already on Discord. Uh, it's also really straightforward deck. It's not versatile. Uh, it has some versatility, I guess, but overall you just insta lose to Fate, and that's the biggest problem with this deck. Maybe even you lose against Emrys or some lists, some Emrys lists. I'm not sure. Versus Brienne and Salin, not ideal matchup. Versus Dawn should be okay, I guess. Yeah. However, it's a really flashy list. Matchup versus Morlik is not the insta win matchup, definitely. And that's I mean, I played like 7 games versus Morlik with this list, and the results were mixed. I'm like 4 wins and 3 losses, I think, something like that. So no matter how much it seems that it counters Morlik completely, it actually doesn't. Just because Morlik has Rise of the Undead on turn 10, um, and a few resurrect minions. So yeah, it's not complete counter to Morlik. but however, it's a really decent, fun deck. Yeah, don't think that it's top tier, but I believe at least should be here. Uh, yeah, just because it's cool and it's certainly playable. So example 3 is Salim. Uh, so this is my Salim list. You can obviously go full Morlik counter and like drop the Ifrit for Nemean Lion, even take in the Miracle. Uh, this Miracle, 1 second, this one, and play it on Nemean Lion. I mean, I don't think it's worth it. I hope that this list will be able to deal with Morlik. If not, that's too bad, but yeah, this is my prediction so far that I will be able to grind with this deck. So obviously Fate again is the problem, and that's because she's just being Fate. Yeah, you kind of have some pressure, but I don't think that it's enough versus Fate. However, really all around well-rounded deck, and yeah. Next up we got Ogma, who I believe came back to the meta mainly because Spellslinger and Zephyr Knight nerf. Uh, so he's the next glass cannon aggro version that is showing up in the meta. Yeah, not nothing really too exciting, but I believe that it's strong deck. Definitely not sure about the Morlik matchup. I'm a little bit skeptical, to be honest, uh, or a lot skeptical, but should be decent. Yeah. And the final deck, we have the Resurrect Vangelis. So, the reason why I put Resurrect Vangelis is simply because Morlik. Morlik plays very similar as Hyperia used to play. So just flood the board and go straight to the face. Back in the days, Resurrect Vangelis was one of the ways to deal with top tier Hyperia. Uh, and that's why I think that this list might be, or something like this, might be the way to go. I could be wrong. I haven't played a single game with Vangelis uh, or with this Vangelis um, in the current season. But yeah, uh, obviously Morlik, yeah, hmm, it's really tough since Morlik kind of has okay matchup versus Darlock, and I suspect that uh, he would always that he will also have good matchup versus this deck, but mm, I will be testing it for sure. Nemean Lion is there, so yeah, you could be spamming your A3 on Nemean Lion and survive for a couple more turns. Mind Blast instead of Mana Burn because of the Arcane Overload, of course. Lunar Priestess is kind of a filler card. And yeah, that's it. So these were my predictions that could be totally wrong, but yeah, that's it. See ya.